where men, they don't so much need love, they want respect. Like if they had to choose between love and respect from their mate, from their wife or their girlfriend, they would choose respect. And men aren't really, love is whatever. Just respect me when I come home. I'm willing to die for you. If somebody broke in the house, I would die to protect you. Just respect me. And if men don't get respect, that's when problems come up. Women need love. They want to be loved and adored and everything else. Men, different. Interested in your take on that.
So I had a psychotherapist called Adam Lane Smith on my podcast, and he has dealt with attachment issues and depression from both men and women for decades. Mm-hmm. He's been a clinical worker. And he said that male depression gets treated like female depression. Men are made to feel loved and accepted when all they want to do is feel capable and powerful. Mm-hmm. And he used this example of the Blitz in World War II. So the Germans are coming over and they're bombing London. And before the war started, there were these psychiatric wards and they had patients in. These patients had been catatonic for years, totally comatose, unresponsive. And the nurses would come in, feed them, roll them over, clean the bedpan, wash them, leave them again. Mm-hmm. These men, mostly men, had been completely unresponsive. Then the Blitz starts. And bombs are being dropped. And one of the problems that you had was that a lot of the men had already been taken off to war. They were already working in jobs. A lot of the women were also working, nurses, or looking after kids down in bunkers and in the underground, trying to protect them from the bombs. Mm-hmm. So there were fires and there were injuries all over London, and there were ambulances and fire engines, and there was no one to drive them. These men, who had been catatonic for 5 years and a decade, got up,
rose to the challenge,
put their shoes on, went outside, and started driving fire engines and ambulances. These men that had been unresponsive for years and years and years.
Because they had purpose.
And that's what Adam said. Adam said that give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass with a smile. And I think that feeling capable and powerful and competent and respected and admired is something that will get a man so far. You give a man those things and he'll deal with suffering until the ends of the earth. We're designed to do that. We're designed to suffer. We're designed to deal with that suffering, but it needs to be in service of something.
Yeah.
You know, the man that suffers and doesn't have competence, capability, purpose, respect, meaning, admiration, that's a man that's depressed. That's a man who is alone and struggling and may take his own life, or may become increasingly useless to the potential partner and society around him, or may become radicalized, you know, in one form or another. And a man who is able to do things well is useful to everybody around him. One of the problems that you have is because there is a very small but pretty vicious cohort of men who do bad things to other people and women especially. In the same way as you said, you know, 90% of CEOs are white men, therefore all white men are having it great.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it is, like 0.1% of men or 0.05% of men or something commit sexual violence acts, therefore all men are predators.
Right.
What you do is you smear all of masculinity with the example of its most egregious transgressors. The problem that you have there is, what baby have you thrown out with the bathwater?
Right.
If in order to make a society where a very small cohort of men is no longer going to misbehave, you have to make all men sedated and useless, what do you want?